Peace and good morning. And let me put my device up here so you can see me better. It was a little dark just now, so I'm gonna put this right here. So yeah, like I was saying before, is that better? Excuse my background, child. I am in my closet, so it is what it is. We about to do it like this. So yeah, I come before you today with a message. The video that I posted prior to this one was in reference of what I'm about to talk about. So that video, I was talking about something that I experienced when I was 14 years old, and the message behind that one is to protect your children at all costs, okay? All children are at risk. It doesn't matter if they live in the suburbs, if they live in the hood, if they, are they got parents that are, over echelon, or they got parents down there, trying to catch up with the big dogs. It don't matter where they are on this globe. They all are at risk because at the end of the day, there's always a predator lurking around the corner. Look at the news with people that say, "Oh, I don't watch the news because da 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 da," whatever. That's on you if you choose to ignore it. But you better keep your eyes on the news. Listen, they're not just adults. Some predators are children. They're not just men. Some predators are boys. Some predators are girls. Some predators are women. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to be mindful that they are always going to be around. They could be at your local grocery store. They could be the friendly lady at the daycare center. They could be the nice man that's always waving at the front of the store, the door greeter, the man in the gas station. They could be the guy that's the principal at the school. They could be the guidance counselor. They could be the football coach. They could be the cheerleading coach. It doesn't matter who they are. Somebody out here is watching and on the prowl, and they're lurking. Them demons out here are strong and they don't care. And that's why they are putting laws in place. Thankfully, fortunately, they're now putting laws in place to protect the children, and that's great. So, like I said, the first story I was talking about something that I experienced. So this one I'm going to talk about when I was a little younger. I was 12 years old, and I ended up going to stay in Texas. I was in San Antonio, and so I was at my stepdad's house. And at this time, my stepdad and my mom, they were split up. They had joint custody between for my brother and I, and it was my dad's turn with the joint custody. So I go stay at his house, and everything's all good. And he, tells me one day that he found, someone. And you know what that means. Parents tell you, I found someone, that means they found them a partner, a significant other. And I was excited because, this whole time, mama out here having fun and stuff. And this man, I think he's, just saving grace, trying to wait for mama to come home. Mama wasn't coming back home. Sir, you needed to get out there and have fun a long time ago, is what I felt for, such a young child. He was always by himself and whatnot, and I never really seen, any females, come around like that, because some parents are, just like that when it comes to having people around their children. So this particular summer that I stayed there, I was introduced to someone. So I remember that day he told me, that he found someone, and he showed me who she was before she even came around in the physical. He had her driver's license. I don't know, she might have just left it there, but he showed me a picture of her, and I'll never forget. I was like, oh, she looks like the lady from a different world. I forget the one name, but she's a little dark skinned, pretty faced lady. She came like at the second season or something like that, and she was just so cute. So I was like, oh, she looks like her. And he was like, you think so? And so, anyways, I think it was like later on that week, she ended up coming in. When he introduced her, he was like, "Hey, this is such and such," and I'm like, "Oh, hi! I'm so happy to see her," because I was just, excited for knowing that this man finally has someone in his life. And her, hi and hug was kind of vague. It wasn't so much of, "Oh, I'm so excited to see you." Um, it was a very, very dry, and it was just like, "Hey, okay." And it was like putting on a front for him. I'm gonna go deeper into the story, and y'all gonna see why. Y'all gonna realize at this point I'm about to tell y'all why I felt like the hug and the greeting of meeting this lady for the first time is very dry and vague. So, um, we spent some time with this lady, and she showed us some things that made me even say to my dad, like, "Nah, she ain't it." Um, the first offense was, okay, so he is trusting enough to take this lady, allow this lady to spend time with us alone. And so, before school starts, back in the day, our parents used to do that first 2 weeks before school started to, get us together, buy clothes and shoes and school supplies. So he one day decided that he trusted to, you know, place this lady in position to take me, shopping for some shoes and stuff. So we went to the store, right? And at that time, with children, when it comes to clothes and shoes, they all got different things going on with them. Me, I had narrow feet. So when it was, time to try shoes on for me, it was always one of them things where we was going to spend quite some time trying to find shoes for me that felt comfortable on my feet, because my feet are very narrow, still to this day. And so I was looking for some shoes, and I just always remember this lady's having the same emotion, same energy, same spirit. It was always vague and dry. That's another thing I want to tell you guys about when it comes to, introducing your children to your partners. Check their energy. You got to really, really, really tap in and check on their temperature. You got to stare at them. You got to look at them. And you even got to make eye contact when your children are in the room with you and your partner, to let that person know, like, I'm watching you. I'm looking at you. And I'm checking out your vibe around my children. And if your vibe is too cold for them, you got to go. My dad didn't do that at the time. Excuse me, my stepdad. He didn't do that at the time. So we trying on shoes and whatnot. And this lady acted like she just did not want to be there. She was cold as hell. Any other, you like this? Yeah. Not, "Oh, these some cute shoes. You want to try these on?" It wasn't this. It was, "You like these shoes here?" I'm in my own world. I'm a kid, I'm doing something that I like to do, so I see it, but I ain't really pressed. You ain't my mama, so it's like, okay. My mom wasn't like that when she, had to do what adults do with children. She had to do it, so it wasn't no need to get, salty about it. Just do the shit. My daddy held you like, well, excuse me, you put yourself in position, and if you didn't want to do it, you should have kept it moving, sweetheart. But anyways, that was one. Um, the main one. These are two separate situations that my daddy should have had cut this lady off. All right. This summer I had started my cycle. Yeah, I just remember cramping real bad. I was cramping, I was on the floor. I ain't never felt this kind of pain in my stomach. I'm rolling around. And mind you, I'm in Texas. My mama all the way on the East Coast. Back in the days, by the way, I'm in my 40s, and I was 12 at this time. So, back in those days, we didn't have like cell phones and, things like that. So if the child spent the summer away from the parent, if your parent wasn't one of them ones that would call every day, you wasn't really going to hear from your other parent like that, because you were in good hands, right? So you would think. So I didn't hear from my mom that whole time I was there. She probably called my dad and stuff, but we didn't hear from our mom. We didn't. It wasn't like we needed to talk to her every single day. But she would call in spurts. So this one time, like, I'm going back to, cramping. I'm cramping, and I'm like, okay, Oh God, let me go use the bathroom. So I just remember having the phone. We had a cordless phone. You remember them cordless phones? I had on a robe. I always wore robes, man. I always wore. I still got like 1,000 robes in my closet right now as we speak. I had a robe, and I remember the phone was in my robe. So I'm in there using the bathroom, and I just remember wiping, and I saw the red juice. Okay, and I was like, the moment. This is, let me tell you about women's intuition. Let me tell you about mother's intuition. My mom and my grandma, they have the best. And I do too. I got it too. My grandmama, thank you, Granny. Thank you for giving me that. Okay, thank you for giving my mama that. And it's crazy because my child even has that good intuition. Like it just happened like that. At this moment, the phone rings, and I look at the call ID, and guess who it is? My mother. Yes, my mother is calling me during the moment that I'm experiencing my menstruation. So I pick up the phone, and mind you, I was never taught about these things. My parents did not teach me that one day you're gonna become a woman, and before you become a woman, you're gonna experience this thing called a cycle that is going to lead you into womanhood. So I never had that conversation, but there was a woman around me that could have had gave me that. She could have gave me that lesson, but let me tell you how that went. So I answered the phone. Hey, Janae. I'm like, hey, mama. And she's like, how you doing? I was like, I'm okay. I said, what you up to? I said, I'm sitting in the bathroom, and I think I just started my period. And my mom was like, really? How'd you know? And I told her what happened. And she was like, well, she said, where's your dad? I said, he's at work. She said, oh, okay. I said, but his girl is here. I'm not going to say her name. And I'm debating whether or not I should, say her name or not, because I really want to expose it, bitch. But I just know nowadays people will go to the depth to, try to get back at you and use, what do they call it? I forget. I can't think of it right now. When um defamation of character, ain't no damn definition. If I say it, it happened, and I ain't lying. And if you try to dare take me to motherfucking court because I called your name out on some shit that you did to me when I was a child, don't you dare try to step to me as an adult, because I will fuck you up in the name of the Most High. Okay. So I'm trying not to, go that route, because I don't even want to give you no clout on nothing. Your name holds no weight over here. You understand? Because you was a demon, and I wish your demonizing ways will be checked at the front door for any time you ever come to someone with some demon energy, demon spirit, demon anything. You are a demon, and you shouldn't have had it been around my brother. This is why I'm sharing this story with you. So I'm going back to when my mom and I was having that conversation. Mama said, well, okay. I said, well, such and such is here. Um, I said, she's here. My mom was so nice to say, well, do you mind going to her, and giving her the phone so I can have a talk with her? And I was like, sure. I thought that was the nicest thing. My mom was so sweet to that lady. She was very nice and respectful towards uh, sharing duties, parental duties, with this lady that she did not know. Was very trustworthy, and this is why she shouldn't have been. So I give the phone to her. My mama told me to do this before I even went and got her. Before I left that bathroom, my mama said, well, do me this favor. She said, take you some tissue. And she said, ball it up and wrap it up. She said, wrap that tissue up and ball it up and make you a little cushion and stick it down there so you won't bleed on yourself. Get up and go to the lady and give her the phone. And so I did that. And excuse me if my words were a little stumbly just now. It's like I'm grown now, and I'm just recollecting my memories. So I go give her the phone, and she's all humble, speaking to my mom and things like that. She knew to be humble with my mama. Let me tell y'all why. So I guess my mama was, respectfully having a conversation about what I was experiencing and whatnot, and that was that. So when my dad got home, it didn't end there. She went and told my dad, and this lady always had a thing where she just felt the need to go run and tell that. She had to go tell my dad about something, like we did things wrong. We were good kids. It wasn't no reason for us to be mad. We had a lot. You know what I'm saying? We had a okay life. Despise, all the demons that were around us. We would take the demons away. Life would have been good. If you took them adult demons away, life was all right. You know what I'm saying? Take them out of the equation. As I'm looking back at it, we had it all right. But if them demons was around us, we would have been real fortunate and blessed and lucky. Yeah, I'm gonna use the word lucky. If them demon wasn't around us, but she gives my dad, the word of what happened. My mom told her what happened, and instead, he comes home. He's a military guy. He's all militant and stuff, and I felt, like I did something wrong when he came to me, and he, she's standing next to him like his little pit bull or something, and he's like, "Well, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me about this?" What the fuck you mean, why I ain't tell you, ho? I'm a girl. You ain't never give me no motherfucking knowledge about why this shit happened. You understand? What did she tell you for you to come at me like that? And why is your energy so shifty towards me now that this lady is here? I'm thinking about it now. Why didn't you tell me? For one, you was at work. For two, I'm a girl. 3, I'm a child. And 4, because you were not around, you did not teach us these things, nor did mama, nor did that lady, okay? She never said to me, okay, this is what we're going to do. So, anyways, now there's a new situation at hand. There's a child in the house that started, another milestone in life. She started her period. Okay, now we got to handle things accordingly. I remember getting a letter from my godmother. She did a long letter, and she was telling me about, things like that, becoming a woman, and to be careful. Because you remember back in the days, it was writing letters, We didn't have no cell phones. We didn't have that kind of technology. She wrote a letter and mailed it to me. And it was beautiful. I just remember she put a heart on it, and she said, "I love you this much." And it was so cute. And that's the kind of support and love that I needed from any adult or any woman at that time. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure my mama told the whole damn world, like everybody's mom did. But yeah, that was that. So it didn't stop there. So now I just remember getting some pads, and I got one bag of pads, and I'm using pads. Nobody taught me how to use them or anything like that. I just remember going through a bag of pads real fast. And so I remember telling my dad always had this lady from that point we met her. My dad always had this lady at the house, like she was a babysitter or something. She wasn't bonding with us. She wasn't trying to get to know us real good. She was just like, it just felt like a babysitter. And I don't remember always being around her. We was just always in our room. She never said, "Oh, let's go outside," which we did. We went places and stuff. That was when Daddy came back home. It was, I just, as I'm remembering things as an adult, thinking about it, that lady didn't do shit with us. So why was she there? So it was just a few times that I remember her being there. I was, always at the house with my brother, caring for him. My brother was safer with me than he was with the adult. Excuse me, my little ghetto rig set up here. This child, listen, my phone right now is sitting on top of my shoe, so forgive me. Anyways, let me just fix myself up. Yeah, going back to what I was saying. I know I didn't, went off the deep end, but I'm getting back to it. So yeah, the pads. Going back to the pad situation. I run through the pads real fast. I let, old girl know, hey, I need some more pads. You know what happened? Instead of her saying, "Oh, okay, well, I'm going to take you to the store and we're going to get some pads together." No. I never went to the store with them to get no pass. They just got pass with me. And listen, when you're another message, when your child, figures out their body, they're gonna always need you to accompany them with, stepping outside of the house to get them things for their bodies. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about clothes, shoes, personal things, deodorant, toothpaste, all that. They gotta be there with you so they can tell you, oh, mommy, this toothpaste right here makes my teeth hurt. Can we try this? Mommy, these shoes right here make my feet hurt. You know what I'm saying? This shirt right here, I don't really fit clothes like this. They just, these type of jeans, we got to do these things. I should have been there to say, well, these pads right here, they always fall off me. They slide off. You know what I'm saying? Can we try something different? Wings is what I needed. Not just wings. I needed the diaper ones. The pads that are like the pins. I started wearing those. Why? Because I was a heavy bleeder at that time. Black woman. You know how we get down. You know how it works for us. I was a heavy bleeder, but I didn't know that because I'm just starting off. So I run out of pads. I tell her, you know what this lady's response was? Ain't no way you running through them pads like that. Sassy attitude, like a fucking little weasel in the face. Just, I hated her face after a while. When somebody they could be the most beautiful person in the world, and as soon as you see that demon coming out of them, they look like a fucking witch. That's what she was to me after a while, because it was like, sis, was all that necessary? You're giving another person's child an attitude because they're coming to you telling you they're bleeding too much? Ain't no way you running through them pads. So once again, here this bitch go. Oh, Lord. Here she go. With my dad, always standing next to him like some little pit bull. He comes, like he's mad. He's showing anger and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself right now, I see why my mama left your bitch ass. I see why. You ain't got no balls, bitch. You let a woman fuck your head up over your children. I despise you, and if I never ever see you ever again a day in my life, I wouldn't give two shits. Going back to that, he's standing there like he's mad. What the fuck are you mad for? You should have been checking this hoe at the gate, letting her know, listen, that's a child, and that's my child. And I asked you if you could be that figure for her. She's going through something very detrimental and personal right now, and if you can't give it to her smooth like that, you gotta go. No, he's sitting up there siding with her, like joining the mad gang because she said something about the girl bleeding through the pads and shit like that. Ain't no way in the world she using all these pads and stuff. Well, bitch, you must be a fucking green ass, low life, no experience having ass broad. That's all you is a broad. You ain't no mother. You don't have a daughter, huh? You ain't like you ain't got a daughter. Yes, she did have a daughter at the time. She had 2 children, but they were very small, so she didn't have that experience. But it could have been a learning experience for her. So instead of it being a learning experience for her, a teaching or anything, she used that as a weapon. She weaponized me the first moment she got to weaponize me. So my dad got mad. He didn't say much. He just had that huffy puffy face like he was just so fucking upset with me for bleeding too much. And so he took me to the store, and I just remember getting some this time, and he said, don't use these up. Don't use all these up. And I'm just like, at the time, I did not know I was a heavy bleeder. There have been times, in my experience of, being a woman, having a menstruation, that I would bleed through my clothes. Yes, I was such a heavy bleeder at the time. And had no idea until later on in my life that I should have had some loving, more understanding adults around me, and I should have had teaching. All women should have great teachings about having periods. All women. Men should have them too. Because if you're a man that has a daughter, a sister, a mama, a wife, a girlfriend, and you are in the same household as that person, you're going to experience that period too. You got to know about when their periods come on, the foods, the temperatures, all that. You got to know about all that. You can't just go off of the wind. You can't. You gotta be real cautious around women with their periods. You do. You're gonna see some things that might shock you, but you're just gonna have to, step up to it. You understand? He never did that. He never protected me. That lady was real, real, real mean to me, and I don't respect that. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day, I just don't respect it. And you could say, oh, you gotta learn how to forget and forgive. Fuck y'all on that forget and forgive. I really do not feel like God says, you gotta forgive and forget everything. That's y'all made that ideology up. That's not the truth. You don't tell a child that they have to forgive a predator for what they did. You forgive yourself for even thinking that you weren't worthy. How about that? It was what it was. You weren't a great stepmom. And that's why I never decided to spend my life with you, after you married my dad. I ended up, that summer, I went back home, and the madness didn't stop there. And so I will, make another part 2 video of why the madness didn't stop there. So, that wouldn't be a part 2. It would be like another part to this video. So after this video here, I'm going to post another one of why parents and any adults that are responsible for caring for a child, why you should always be careful of that. Be careful who you have around your children. Don't just be giving y'all children up to anybody. I'm going to make another video. I'm coming back.